Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, and tonight I'm talking about Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which is apparently about Amish people. Anyways, I'm very familiar with Amish people, being born and raised in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where a ton of Amish people live. I'm basically Amish myself, insofar as I'm not really Amish, but I'm familiar with them. So it's fun to see a movie based around them and sort of their culture, although I'm not exactly sure they got any of that right. But we'll get into it. So Paranormal Activity Next of Kin is directed by William Eubank, who just recently did that underwater movie with Kirsten, what the hell's her name? Kristen Stewart. I don't know. I like that movie though. I thought that was fun. So going into this, didn't have many expectations. The last few Paranormal Activity movies, especially like the Ghost Dimension, just not very good. But this movie doesn't really feel too much like a Paranormal Activity movie to me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, so we'll unpack it here. So this movie follows Margot, who is a young woman who, with her boyfriend Chris, who's making a documentary about her. She's trying to unpack her history because she was left for adoption as a baby, and she learns that she is related to this Amish family, and she goes there and visits them, and then some supernatural hijinks ensue. Interesting premise for a story, basing it on the Amish. The only other real Amish movie I know was Witness, also made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, starring one Harrison Ford. Oh my gosh, what a movie. I don't know why I'm saying this. So this movie feels way more cinematic than any of the other Paranormal Activity movies really do. It's just a bit much more ambitious movie because most of the Paranormal Activity movies are very small in scale, generally set in like one house, usually has a decent justification for why there's a camera rolling all the time. But the small scale of a suburban house is very relatable to a lot of people, especially when you're watching the movie in your living room and you're like looking over in the hallway or out of your peripheral vision, there's movement and shit. Like it just adds the creepiness factor when it's super relatable. This movie goes the opposite direction. It's ambitious. You're at an Amish farm, there's a cave, there's barns, there's all this land and stuff. So it's just the scale is much bigger, the set pieces are much more cinematic and stuff. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it just makes it not feel like a Paranormal Activity movie. And so, I don't know, I think this movie would be better well received if it just cut that from the title, because I feel like it's setting your expectations up for something a little bit different. So, once I adjusted my expectations, I thought it was alright, especially the last half to last 30 minutes of this movie are pretty entertaining. The first 40 minutes, kind of a slog as you get introduced to the Amish. And, you know, there's just milk churning and butter churning. Everything's churned, I guess, when you're Amish. I don't fucking know. The storyline is interesting and compelling. Not exactly mind-blowing original. There's some hints of like a Village, Midsommar kind of thing going on with this movie. I didn't exactly find it scary. There's a few intense moments that were pretty good. Otherwise, it's more of the roller coaster ride kind of thing, like a newer Blair Witch, although not nearly as bombastic. Sure, there's still a few jump scares here and there that are a little annoying, but for the most part, I just was kind of enjoying the ride. The production values are really good, especially the end. There's just a bunch of sequences that keep going. But because of that, you also need to kind of like turn your brain off and think about like, why the fuck are you still recording this with this camera? Wouldn't you be fucking getting out of here? There's fucking monsters, there's fucking Amish people, just get out. But they're always stopping. They just kick off a monster or some shit and they're like, oh, first thing I gotta do is make sure I get my camera. Like you wouldn't do that, you'd get the fuck out. And so you gotta just forgo thinking about the justification for why this stuff's being filmed. Which I know is kind of hard when the whole purpose of the genre is supposed to be like, this is authentic, real footage you're watching. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like a roller coaster. So it's cool, but it doesn't feel like the Paranormal Activity movies did, where a lot of times they just put this camera on this tripod because they're trying to catch this ghost footage. So it's not framed nicely. It doesn't look like a movie. It's just like feels more authentic and real. This feels like a movie. The shots are nice. The framing is nice. There's some shakiness and stuff like that that's annoying at times, but There's a bunch of cool sequences where you get a quick shot of a monster or something, and it's creepy because you saw it for a second. So yeah, I wasn't blown away by this. It's a pretty standard found footage movie with some good production values, some decent acting, and a sort of interesting premise that we have here. I think you could do much worse. It's a good time to watch it, the spooky season. So yeah, if you've seen Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, let me know what you think. Otherwise, I will catch you here next time, guys. Goodbye. Hey guys, it's Chris. I know some of you already have a heads up over the others because you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel. To me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps us out. Catch you here later, guys. Goodbye.